It is.
I love it. And I got to get your prediction really quick on the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight.
Boxing. I'm team boxing, man. Gervonta Davis, of course.
Gervonta Davis?
Of course.
And who would you say is the #1 pound for pound right now in boxing?
Usyk.
Great fight, great matchup. It's fun for the sport of boxing. It makes it fun, it makes it entertaining. That's what it's all about. You know, and may the best man win. It's an exhibition regardless, it doesn't count.
The weeds for this? You part of this movement that's going on right now. Well, I got in the ring with you know, a top pound for pound fighter in the world. Y'all going over to contribute to help this dude.
The guy must be around 150 right now, 153, something like that. And you can really tell when he's sideways. When you look at him sideways and see the depth.
Alexander Usyk has issued a harsh warning to Jake Paul about stepping into the ring with Gervonta "Tank" Davis. With Tank looking bigger, sharper, and more skilled than ever, Usyk believes there's only one possible outcome: Jake Paul losing. Recently, in response to Paul's 5-year plan, where he claimed he'd become a world champion and eventually fight Usyk, the Ukrainian champion fired back on social media. "Good plan, Jake," Usyk wrote. "But I don't compete for 5th place, only 1st. Soon, I'll close the book on boxing, and after that, I'll be waiting for you in the cage." Usyk made it clear that, in his view, Jake won't even make it past a smaller but real fighter like Davis, confidently predicting an easy win for Tank.
In some things, I think Gervonta's just gonna stick and move. He'll be fast, play it smart, I don't see him staying still for too long so Jake can land some shots. He'll just try to touch him. Who knows, man? It's an exhibition. It's a money grab.
Usyk doesn't consider Jake Paul part of boxing's serious elite. By mocking Paul's ambitious goals, he reminded fans that when true fighters talk about legacy, they're not talking about social media followers. Without even mentioning Davis by name, Usyk made his point. Tank already looks more powerful. His recent training clips show a bulked-up frame, stronger legs, and the same explosive movement that has always defined his style.
Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis. That's the state of boxing.
Yeah, that's
right now.
crazy.
Let that sink in.
Jake
that's
Paul,
right
Gervonta Davis is so crazy. 135 versus 200. That is so nuts.
They're all exhibitions.
None of them are.
They're exhibitions.
There's a clear transformation in Tank Davis. He's adding muscle mass but hasn't lost his trademark sharpness, something that's caught the attention of many boxing professionals. Fans agree that Tank's approach is smart. He's preparing strategically for Jake Paul's size advantage, adapting his game plan, and looking every bit like a fighter ready to make a statement.
Jake went for the jugular. Jake comes back and says, anybody that puts his hands on a woman is a scumbag, and that's you. Tank responds. In the world of responses, it was as bad as it gets. In defense of himself, makes a comparison to P. Diddy. Jake literally just puts his head down. It's like, man. And I think that Jake was thinking in the moment.
Tank has recently opened up about his current mindset. "The headspace I'm in now is way better than before. That's all that matters to me," he said when asked about his mental preparation. True to his nature, Tank isn't engaging in trash talk. Instead, he's focused on the fight itself. "This is a real fight. My size, my power, the way I move, I just need to adapt. It's going to be a great event. Every time I fight, it's fireworks." Meanwhile, Jake Paul has finally shown a rare moment of honesty, acknowledging the challenge that lies ahead.
You prepare for a guy that's different stature-wise?
Yeah, no, we have world champions. Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Love in. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week. So just sparring against guys on their level and people who have, been doing this.
In a recent conversation with TMZ, Jake Paul admitted something few expected. "I think there's a lot of talk about size, but people forget that Tank is a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter," he said. "He's got power in both hands, and when it comes to skill and technique, he's been doing this for years. Honestly, I'm the most scared going into a fight that I've ever been." It's rare to hear a fighter openly admit fear, especially someone like Jake Paul, whose brand has always revolved around confidence, bravado, and shaking up the sport.
Best boxers right now. I think that fight there, because of Tank's skill level, it's like it makes it fair, even though he's not. The weight difference is crazy. Really and truly, bro, Jake Paul should not land a punch on Tank. This guy's one of the greatest.
Even if Jake's words are part of the hype, former heavyweight champion Shannon Briggs seems to share a similar sentiment. Briggs, who helped train Jake early in his career, teaching him fundamentals like footwork, balance, and the jab, spoke candidly about the matchup. "It's great for boxing," Briggs said. "I used to train with Jake Paul, and even back then, I knew this was going to be something special." But the excitement in his tone shifted when the topic turned to Gervonta Davis. Having faced elite punchers himself, Briggs knows exactly what speed and timing can do, and he believes Tank possesses both in abundance. When a former trainer starts focusing on how big the event will be rather than his fighter's chances of winning, it might be a subtle sign of concern.
He's a marketing genius, but when it comes to people that picking his fights, I can't get my head around it. If Tank hits him clean, he's going to sleep. He'll have a lot of smoke blowing up his backside by his coaching team and people like that, but when he gets hit for real, 10 ounce, well, I'm told there's 16 ounce gloves now, it's like an exhibition. Right. I'm told it's big gloves and head guards, he's going to need them.
Tony Bellew didn't mince words when asked about the matchup. "If Tank lands clean, Jake Paul's going to sleep," he said bluntly. Bellew, who knows knockout power firsthand, both delivering and receiving it, kept his take simple. Jake might have the size advantage, but Tank's precision, speed, and explosiveness make that completely irrelevant. Bellew elaborated, reminding fans that Tank has faced and beaten fighters much larger than himself. His timing, punch selection, and ability to walk opponents down are elite. Jake's never fought anyone like Tank, Bellew emphasized. Tank's got real power. If Jake Paul gets hit by Gervonta Davis with 8-ounce gloves, he's going to sleep. It's more than just talk, it's a technical reality check. You can't block that kind of snap and accuracy forever. One mistake, one wrong slip, and it could all be over.
Look at this face-off, Henry. What are your thoughts here?
You're hearing that from me. That's cringe. In some weird way, I kind of like it.
About it?
Carl Froch believes this matchup carries real danger, not just for the spectacle, but for the unpredictability inside the ring. He didn't frame it as entertainment. He framed it as a potential safety concern. According to Froch, regardless of the weight difference, Gervonta "Tank" Davis's explosiveness could pose a serious threat. Jake Paul's tendency to fight with his chin slightly raised might prove costly against someone with Tank's timing and power. Veteran fighter Gabe Rosado echoed that sentiment, reminding fans that Davis isn't just about brute force. He's a master of setups and precision.
Talking about fighting Joshua, which is heavyweight, and now he's saying about fighting Tank. Nah, this can't be. It's Netflix as well. I need to go and do some checks and see if like the main pages have posted this, but Jake Paul's posted it. It says Friday, November 14th. It's in Atlanta.
Tank knows how to bring you into his range, Rosado explained. He doesn't waste punches. That's a huge difference. Rosado broke down the tactical contrast. Jake Paul depends on rhythm and straight-line shots, while Tank Davis thrives on disrupting that rhythm. He moves in, makes you react, and fires when you least expect it. That's how he's been dropping world-class opponents for years. It's the kind of fight IQ that separates an experienced technician from a powerful novice, and it's why many pros see Tank's edge as more than just physical.
For 10 3-minute rounds. I said it was 190. The fight is 195 pounds, Tank, as you know. Over 10 3-minute rounds, and when Tank and Jake enter the squared circle to go to battle, they will be wearing 12-ounce gloves. 3 commission-approved, world-class professional judges will score.
What's adding to the tension around this fight is the clear mental shift in Gervonta Davis. The distractions that once surrounded him seem to have faded, replaced by a sharper focus than fans have seen in years. He looks disciplined, serious, and visibly driven to prove something, not to critics or fans, but to himself. Jake Paul, meanwhile, continues to walk the line between showman and boxer. His physical progress is undeniable, a stronger frame, tighter combinations, and improved conditioning. But as many experts note, there's still a world of difference between learned repetition and instinctive reflex, and Tank has lived in that rhythm his entire life.
Realistic shot where he could land one big punch, and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power?
Nah, not at all. I think Tank is, he's been boxing his whole life. He's been boxing since a kid, so I doubt like that's gonna be an issue or problem. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but I think it's just levels.
Do you see a more likely chance that Tank wins by decision?
Shakur Stevenson didn't mince words when asked whether Jake Paul had any real chance against Gervonta Davis. His answer was as short as it was sharp: no. When pressed, he simply repeated himself, nope, before calmly breaking down why. Size might play some part in the fight, Stevenson explained, but if I'm Tank, I'm just going out there to outbox him and use my knowledge and IQ. I could see Tank outboxing him and making it look real easy. It was a quiet but definitive statement from one of boxing's most precise technicians, and one that summed up how most of the sports elite seem to view this matchup.
When you go get an actual real boxer, for real boxer, who is a knockout artist, who is still in his prime, and now you put him in this exhibition, this just shows me right now that the sport is officially gone, and the only hope we have is September 13th, Canelo and Bud Crawford.
When the topic turned to the fight status, Paulie Malignaggi dug deeper into what makes this matchup unusual. This one's not sanctioned, he explained, so technically you can't even bet on it. He went on to say that making it an exhibition changes everything. When it's an exhibition, you take away the gambling angle. They can't legally allow betting on something that could be staged. That's why they had to turn the Tyson fight into a real one. People wanted to bet. Malignaggi didn't hold back, calling the whole setup wacky, unpredictable, and a circus, hinting that the event might be more of a spectacle than a legitimate contest.
Against boxing. Right. I just hope we get the Shakur fight before that moment. So for me, that Tank fight, I mean, as I understand it, Tank's fighting Jake Paul, which is the most bizarre thing ever, but I'm sure it'll do massive numbers. And I don't know what'll happen with the Lamont Roach fight, but I just hope that...
Still, Malignaggi offered some real boxing insight, on the off chance the fight isn't staged. If it's genuine and not just a light sparring match, he said, Tank's got a chance, depending on the glove size. He pointed out that Jake Paul is probably 100 pounds heavier than Gervonta Davis, a staggering difference in combat sports. If they use small gloves, Tank could hurt Jake if he lands clean. But those same gloves also mean Jake could seriously damage Tank because of the size gap. That size difference has been the biggest topic of debate since the fight's announcement. Fans can't believe Davis agreed to fight anywhere near 190 to 195 pounds. Even if it's just an exhibition, Tank has spent his entire career around 135. No fighter that small has ever stepped into cruiserweight territory against a full-sized opponent, at least not seriously.
I mean, and you know what, PBC has to be called out in this too. They have one of the biggest stars in boxing, and they're putting them in this farcical fight. And they are struggling for survival, PBC. I mean, they are just falling apart. You know, the Pacquiao fight did terrible. You know, terribly promoted. You know, Pacquiao was hardly available. I mean, it was just that they were too cheap to hire Pacquiao's normal